learning about divisibility rules. So divisibility rules are like little tricks we can use to identify if a number is divisible by another number. We're going to be learning the rules for these numbers right here. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to find out if a number is divisible by these without actually having to divide the number and check. This will be really useful when you're trying to find the LCM and GCF of something and when you're trying to make fractions like fractions so that you won't have to sit and divide each and every number. You'll be able to tell using the rules. Okay, so let's start with number 2. An easy trick to remember is that any even number is divisible by 2. Or another way you can say it is the last digit of the number has to be an even number because it has to be divisible by 2. So I've given you some examples here and you can check it out for yourself with a calculator. Okay, so the rule for number 3 is a bit tricky because it's not very straightforward. You have to add each digit of the number. So you have to add 8 and 1, and the resulting number has to be divisible by 3. Because if it is, that tells us that the entire number is divisible by 3. So since 9 is divisible by 3, 81 is going to be divisible by 3 because 8 plus 1 equals 9. Okay, now the rule for number 4 says that the last 2 digits of the number you're looking at has to be divisible by 4. So I've given you some examples here and we can test it out with the calculator. So 64 is divisible by 4 because it equals 16. So we're going to try it out. 564 divided by 4. See, you get a whole number here, and that tells us that 564 is divisible by 4. And so the rule for number 5 is really easy because all you have to do is look at the last digit of the number, and if it ends with a 0 or a 5, that means the whole number is divisible by 5. Okay, you might be wondering where the rule for number 7 is. We're going to be skipping that because the rule for number 7 is so complicated that it's easier to just divide the number that you want to know is divisible by 7, like manually, instead of using a rule. Okay, now, so for the rule for number 6 says that the number has to be divisible by both 2 and 3. So you're going to have to apply both the rules here to find out if the number is divisible by 6. So you have to check if the last digit is an even number or if it's divisible by 2, which it is because 4 is divisible by 2. Then you have to add each digit of the number, which gives us 15. And since 15 is divisible by 3, that means 564 is divisible by 3. So you see we crossed off both the rules here. We checked for 2 and 3 and 564 met those requirements. So that means 564 is divisible by 6. This might be getting a little complicated, and if I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video and make some notes for yourself because this will be really helpful for you. Okay, now the rule for number 8 says that if the last 3 digits of the number is divisible by 8, that means the entire number is divisible by 8. Okay, so this rule is a little bit redundant because you're not normally going to be using big numbers like this during your LCM and GCF or when you're trying to find the LCM and GCF, but it's still very useful to know. Okay, the last 2. So the rule for number 9 is the same as the rule for number 3. You add all the digits of the number and the resulting number must be divisible by 9 if the whole number is going to be divisible by 9. So since 7 plus 2 plus 9 equals 18, and since 18 is divisible by 9, this entire number here, 729, is divisible by 9. Okay, and the rule for number 10 is kind of like the rule for number 5. It's really easy. Any number ending in 0 is divisible by 10. Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys, and make sure to look over the video again if you have any questions or write down any notes for any information that you think will help you out in the future.